Welcome, everybody, to our Tactical Tuesday. Can you believe we're in May already? And here goes 2024 as we move along. So, a new month, guys, a new month. And this is Money Magnet May. How do we attract money? What's in it for a money partner? That's going to be kind of our focus this month. But tonight is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be focusing on some of the ways, one of the theories that we hear a lot about these days is a passive investment. And, real estate investing is kind of always termed as something that is somewhat passive. So, for those of you that are real estate investors and have maybe an investment property or two or three or 10 or whatever it might be, I'd like to get your opinion. Would you say real estate investing is a passive type of investment? So that's what we're going to talk about at the very beginning. We're going to kind of identify some of the myths around real estate investing, but then we're going to go a step further and actually talk about some ways where if you are looking to work less in real estate, what are some ways that you can go about doing that? What are some ways that it can be somewhat passive? And so we're going to discuss that tonight. So here we go, guys. It's going to be a great topic. Happy to have you here, and let's get started. Hey guys, it's Corey and Tiffany, and we're the co-founders of Investor Life.
And we help investors scale their portfolios using other people's money. Fearless, welcome to another Tactical Tuesday.
Welcome to another Tactical Tuesday. We have a really cool topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. This, guys, I hope is a scenario that shows you the power of leveraging your money.
We help investors take their portfolios from 2 or 3, 5 properties maybe, up to 15, 20, 50 properties if that's what they're wanting to.
Really, the sky's the limit.
And we help investors scale their portfolio.
For free weekly live trainings that we do over there on Facebook. Thanks for...
Hey guys, it's Corey from Investor Life, and Tiffany just stuck out her tongue at me. Okay.
Yeah, that was a bad rendition. But guys, today, what wrecks people in real estate? We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to make sure that it doesn't happen to you. Welcome back, everybody. Great to see you here. Thanks for saying hello as you come on, letting us know where you're from. Chris from Ontario, Robin from Edmonton, Craig and Lisa, rainy Edmonton. Yes, it's been raining for the last couple of days here. Louis from New Brunswick. Welcome, Louis. And everybody else that is watching, Scott as well. So guys, today, have you heard this before? Getting into real estate investment, people say, well, it's a passive type of investment. And, being in it now for 20 plus years, I can guarantee you it is not a passive type of investment. Would you agree? If you are a real estate investor, would you agree it is not a passive type of investment? There's a lot of work that goes into being a real estate investor. And I'm sure that any of you that own an investment property would agree with me there. Hello, Sharon and Eric, Helen, Gregory, everybody for all of across Canada. We really appreciate you being here. So throughout our training this evening, we're going to discuss a few things. Number one, there's work involved. So what are some of the duties that you have to do as a real estate investor? And if you don't do them, then maybe you partner with somebody that does do some of those duties for you or all of the duties for you. And then it can become more and more passive of an investment if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking to spend less time, do less work, there are ways to do it. And so we're going to share some of those a little bit later on as to how you can be a passive investor. If you have money that you want to get to work in a relatively safe environment, which is real estate, are there ways you can do it without all the work? Yes, there is. And we will get to that tonight. Yeah, absolutely not passive. Lots of work. That is right, Sharon and Cindy and Craig and Lisa. There's a lot of work involved. In fact, one of the things we're going to go through tonight, guys, is and all of our Ignited members, you have access to this. It's in your membership site. It is the Joint Venture Working Partners Duties List. And this list is 4 pages long, guys. And it kind of just lists all the different things that a working partner typically takes care of. Now, here's the deal. These are things that has to be taken care of regardless of whether you're a working partner. If you're just buying a piece of real estate and as an investment property, these are still the duties that you have to take care of doing. And so this list is actually quite valuable because some people get into this business of real estate investment thinking that it is passive. And once you go through this list and you see all of the things that you need to do for each and every investment property, you start to realize that work is involved. Okay, so we want to bust open that myth that this is a passive way of investing. Now, are there ways to do it that way? Absolutely. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. But what we did is we actually created a way that you could download this. Anybody watching us on YouTube or Facebook tonight, if you want a copy of this working partner duties list, go to investorlife.com and it's in the toolkit right at the very bottom. Click on that, download it, and you will have a copy of this 4-page duties list, which is great for any investor to go through. Make sure you absolutely know what you're getting yourself involved in, right? Okay, so here's some of the things we're going to go through, and I don't think we have time. It would take more than an hour for me to go through every duty on this list, but let's just talk about some of them right at the very beginning. This is in the section of finding and purchasing a property. Okay, here's some. Thank you, Jules, for sharing that link. That's perfect. So anybody who wants a copy of this list, just go there, click it, you put in your name, email, and it will get emailed to you right away. Okay. Number one, the first thing you need to do, weed out and find good realtors. Who of you has interviewed several realtors or had a tough time finding a good investment focused realtor in the market that you are looking in? This can be a tough start. I remember when we first got started, we just were contacting selling realtors or selling listings that looked good to us. We wanted to view them. We wanted to run the numbers, get some information, etc. And then eventually we got to the point where we had our own realtor doing some of that work for us. We hired a realtor to do that work for us to bring us off-market deals. And once we actually got a really good relationship with an investment-focused realtor, they were bringing us stuff that never even hit the open market. That's the difference. So part of the job, step number one, that's mentioned on this list here is weeding out and finding good realtors. Now, do you think that that's going to take some time? Do you think that takes some work? Absolutely, it does. Creating that relationship takes time, effort, and work. Point number two, once you have a good realtor, they're sending you properties, you still need to analyze the properties. Make sure that they work for you, for the strategy that you are employing. Okay, so now we have on here, and this is very true, the ratio is out of 100 properties that we might look at, that might get sent our way, only 1, 2, 3 will actually be bought, where we actually go through the process of buying it and owning it. So that's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work just in analyzing properties to find the 1 or the 2 or the 3 that we might want to buy. Step number 3 on this list here, guys, is devising a strategy for the property. Okay, are we going to flip it? Are we going to buy and hold it? Are we going to do a BRRRR? Is this a multifamily? Do we have an exit strategy? What is our strategy for that particular property, that particular investment? Are we working with partners? Are partners putting some of the money in for us, with us? Are we going to be looking for private lenders? What is our strategy? We need to know that up front. So devising a strategy is going to take some time to put that together. Let's say we have a good strategy. We have a good property. We've analyzed one. We've gone through 100. We found one we're going to buy. We now need to complete the diligence process on that property. So we might look up the history of that property. We might confirm the condition of the property, do a walkthrough, do an inspection. What does it need done to it to get it rent ready? If it's a multifamily, how many of the suites need to be renovated perhaps, or what other things might need to be done? Maybe we're changing boilers or roofs or those sorts of things. So confirming the condition of the property itself, we can't take the word of the seller or the word of the selling realtor. We need to confirm that ourselves. That takes time. That takes effort. Next step, confirming the title. what's on title, what should be on title, what shouldn't be on title. That's another step that's important. Confirming that the purchase price is correct, consistent with other buildings, other properties in that neighborhood. Remember, you can buy a property on one side of the tracks and a property a block over on the other side of the tracks. And we think, oh, well, they're so close, they must be the same. No. Have we done our research on the neighborhoods? Do we really understand the value of that property that we're buying? So does that take time to do? Effort? Absolutely it does. We have to confirm that the neighborhood is acceptable for the type of tenants that we're planning to move into this property. Maybe we think this property is perfect for a student rental, but maybe it's a few blocks farther than the students really want to walk or rent from. Or maybe it's too far from public transit, etc. We have to confirm those types of things. Now, does that take time? Does that take effort? Yes, it does. I think as we go through some of these guys, and I'm so far on the page 1 of this list, I'm about halfway down some of the duties, and this is just on the finding and the purchasing of the house. What's the point that we're trying to make here? The point is that real estate investment is not a passive type of investment. It takes work. It takes time. It takes completing a lot of diligence to make sure that this is a property that we're going to move forward with, and it's going to fit our strategy or the strategy of our partners that we're working with. Maybe we need to review engineering drawings. We might need to review the service or the management contracts, the contract with the property manager, maybe some of the trades that might be under contract, the snow removal, et cetera, et cetera. These are the types of things that we need to confirm before we move forward with that property, right? So those are important to do. We have to be doing market analysis on a regular basis. You know, if maybe the market starts to change, does our strategy change? At what point are we deciding whether we're going to refinance or sell? We have to be watching the market to maybe make some of these decisions. Now, maybe we need to submit offers on these properties. Does it take time and effort to do the paperwork to submit offers on these properties? We have to determine what is a good offer, what isn't a good offer. We have to go through the whole negotiation process. So would we determine that this is a situation that fits a multiple offer situation? What if that's the one we're in? Are we going to move forward? What decisions are we going to make? I'm just going to complete page 1 here, guys, okay? We need to do the negotiation process. We need to get the deal done. We need to devise maybe creative ways to make offers. So those are some of the things mentioned on page 1 of this 4-page duties list. And I wanted to go through these to kind of start our evening off tonight, guys, to make a point. The point is it takes work to be a real estate investor. Whether you are having somebody do the work for you or whether you do it yourself, somebody needs to be doing all of these things when it comes to buying an investment property. So this is where you make a decision now. You say, I want to be a real estate investor. You have to decide, are these the types of things that I want to be doing as a real estate investor, or do I want to have a partner do that for me? Now, you guys have heard many, many times we talk about joint venturing, we talk about different strategies, we talk about different ways that you can be a real estate investor. And a lot of people out there want to be in the real estate field, but don't want to be doing some of the things that I mentioned here. They don't have the time. You know, maybe they have a full-time job. Maybe that fits for you. You don't have the time to be doing all of these things. So what's the next step to make it slightly more passive? Well, that's where you now partner with somebody that does a lot of these duties. Now, kind of the next step along the roadway would be having your realtor do a lot of these duties. Okay, so some of the things that we talked about here, you would still need to weed out and find a good realtor. But once that's done, they can be analyzing properties for you, right? They can help you devise a strategy for that property. They can help you complete some of the diligence. They can meet the inspectors there. They can pull the title for you. They can do some of the comparables of other properties to confirm that this is a good property in the good price range. They can maybe even touch base with some property managers. So if you have a good realtor and maybe you have a good property manager, Is that going to alleviate some of these duties? Yes, it is. It's going to alleviate some of these. So that's kind of the next step, is obviously not trying to do everything yourself, but what are ways that us as real estate investors can still be a real estate investor, but not spend so much time? Well, kind of the next step is building a good team around us. Okay. So for those of you that are investors already, I'm sure you'd agree that having a good realtor, having a good property manager, having a good lawyer, having a good mortgage broker, these are all important relationships to have. And that's going to lessen the amount of time that you spend. Now, does that mean it's passive at that point? You have a good team around you. Would you say real estate investing is a passive type of investment at that point? Throw it in the chat, guys. Let me know. You have a good realtor, you have a good mortgage broker, good property manager, good lawyer. Would you say real estate investing is still a passive type of investment in that scenario? I'm going to wait for some comments here in the chat, because I know many of you do have a good team, but I bet that I know what your response is going to be. So throw it in the chat. We're going to wait for you guys. And I know there's a bit of a delay here because we are streaming through StreamYard and then onto Facebook. So there's a bit of a delay, but there we go. I see some of the comments starting to come in. So Craig and Lisa say, no, it's still not passive. You still have to manage your team. Absolutely. Craig, Lisa, how much time would you say you spend managing your team on a monthly basis? Okay, I'd be curious to know. Sharon, not totally passive, but better. Exactly. This is kind of the next step. You're not doing everything yourself, but it's still not totally passive. Lisa says no. Sharon, Lisa, Cindy, how much time do you think you would still spend per property per month, even if you have a really good team in place? Heather, almost. You still have to do your own due diligence. Absolutely. You know, you can have a really good team that's been doing this stuff for a long time, but does it fit you? Does it fit your strategy? Does it fit your market? These are all things that you still have to do your diligence on, right? Louis, I think it would be more passive, but not all the way. Ideally, you want to keep your hands on the steering wheel. It couldn't have been said any better. You absolutely still have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. So, as Lisa says here, a great team is essential and a great help, but that's just a start. So that's kind of the next step. Okay. So step number one, you're doing it all yourself. You're doing all your own research. You're doing all your own management. You're doing everything. Okay. That's kind of step one. Step two is you now have a good team around you. You have a good realtor, good mortgage broker, a good property manager, a good lawyer. Those would be your top 4 team members that you're going to need. So once you have that, that's going to make things a lot smoother, but it's still not passive. Now, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is the next step in this scenario to make it even more passive? Okay, so aside from having a good team, if that's still going to take, like, for example, here, Craig says 10 to 20 hours a month managing our teams and analyzing properties. That's still a lot of time. Now, if you're working 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, do you have the time to spend another 20 doing this, managing that team? Still takes a lot of time. It's not a passive investment. At the bare minimum, an hour a day average, although mine is 4 times that, says Cindy. So still managing your team takes time. Okay. So what's the next step? If I still want to be a real estate investor, but I don't want to be spending the 10 to 20 hours a month, and I'm wondering if that's per property, Craig and Lisa. I don't think it would be per property, but maybe it is. I could say it'd be very easy to spend 30, 40, 50 hours a month on managing your team, depending on how many properties you have. Okay. So what's the next step? Any ideas, guys? Throw it in the chat. What would be the next step if I wanted to still be a real estate investor, but not spend all of that time? What do you think it is? To make it more passive, you could become a hands-off lender. Okay. Says Heather. There's one step, Heather. I think we're going to get to that, but there's one step we could do maybe before that. And that's where we start to joint venture, guys. Oh, systems. That's a good idea, Lisa. Obviously, if we have systems in place, we have good reporting documents. We know exactly what's happening with our properties. We have a good bookkeeper. We have people staying on top of this for us. A good system in place, that's going to definitely help lessen some of the time. But that's still kind of like having a good team. Okay. So the next step, exactly, Fritzy, I was waiting for somebody to say it, is to become a money partner. Now, what does that mean? To joint venture, Louis? Exactly. That's exactly kind of the next step. So step number one, I'm doing it all myself. Step number two, I have a great team. Now I'm not spending as much time. Step number three is I partner with somebody who has a great team. Now, somebody who's going to manage that team for me. Somebody who's going to manage my entire investment, all my investment dollars, who's just going to report back to me. Now, if I'm a money partner, what are my duties in that? Well, one, I'm giving the money, the down payment, maybe the renovation costs, whatever all the costs are to buy that property up front, okay, including qualifying for the mortgage. Those are the things that I'm taking care of as a money partner. Now, does that take time to do that? Yes. I still have to have a mortgage broker. I still have to go through the process of buying it. I still have to do a little bit of analysis, although I can rely on my working partner to do a lot of that for me. But it's kind of the next step. If I'm not wanting to manage that whole team, and I'm probably going to want to lessen the amount of time I spend as a money partner, that's kind of the next step. So I'll say, as a money partner, I probably spend 1 hour a month, 2 hours a month still, connecting with my working partners, getting a report from my working partners, maybe answering some questions from our working partners, making a few decisions along with our working partners. These are all things that I would still do as a money partner. So, we're not 100% passive, but we're probably 90% there, 95% of the way there. So for those of you that are listening and maybe have a little bit of money that you want to invest in real estate, could you think of the option of maybe connecting with somebody that will do all of the work for you? So I'm curious, is there anybody watching? I think we have roughly about 25 or 30 people live with us right now, including on YouTube. Are there anybody that's watching right now that is somebody that would be willing to do all the work and willing to take 90 to 95% of the headaches away from a money partner? Do everything for them so that they're almost passive in the investment. Okay. Because that's what I hear next from money partners is to say, well, I would do that, but, is there anybody out there that's willing to do all of this work? So throw your name in the chat, guys. If you are somebody that has been or wants to be a working partner in this scenario, that is willing to do all of the work that we listed on this working partner duties list. And remember, we only went through page 1. We didn't talk about managing the property. We didn't talk about dealing with vacancies, dealing with maybe the improvement of the property and the tradespeople, or maybe swinging the hammer themselves. We didn't talk about, eventually going to sell the property. We didn't talk about a lot of the other duties that come along with the whole thing of having a real estate investment. But here we go. I see it in the chat. I'm going to read some of this. Always, says Sean and Andrea. I'm willing to do all the work for sure, says Cindy. Absolutely, that's us. Reach out, says Craig and Lisa. Brian throws his hand up. Heck yeah, says Fritzy. I'm willing to take 99% of the headaches at the point I'm in life for the next 10 years at least. Later, I will become a money partner. I enjoy working. Okay, Louis. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know. Is it Louis or Louis? I don't know how you tell me that by texting. If it's Louis, give me a 1. If it's Louis, give me a 2. Crystal, as an active working partner, I work almost full time at real estate investing, especially when I have an active project on the go. I'm always happy to have conversations about joint ventures. For sure, says Lisa Penny. Lisa Stanley, working partner here. Okay, guys. So this is one of the things that we hear all the time from money partners is who can I invest with? Like, who's willing to do all of this work and only get a share of the profits? Well, I think you just saw a whole bunch of hands go up out of the people that are here. And believe you me, if you're a money partner, I would probably suggest connecting with some of the people that have put their hand up here and have a conversation. Say, hey, listen, this is what I can bring to the table. This is what I'm willing to do. What do you bring to the table? And have that conversation with a potential working partner. And remember, a lot of that has to do with a relationship. A lot of that has to do with getting to know one another. A lot of that has to do with having goals that align. If somebody's goal is to buy a property and own it for 25 years, but the other person wants, a quicker investment, maybe only 2 years long or something like that, 3 years long, well, maybe that doesn't mesh. Or maybe one partner is looking for a higher equity portion or maybe more cash flow. These are all conversations that you have with potential partners. Yeah, you're saying it right, but a better way would be Lewis. Lewis, okay. I think I got her. Right on, Lewis. I'm here to help with your investment. Let's connect, says Cindy. Patrick, hi, everyone. What would be your ideal working partner? What do they need to have for you to work with them? Very good question, Lewis. My ideal working partner this is like my number one thing that I would look for, or that I do look for in a working partner is, number one, do I trust them? Now, that includes and encompasses a lot of different things, but what builds the trust, what helps me make a decision that, yeah, I do trust them enough to actually give them some money. They would have to, number one, be able to talk the lingo, know what is a good investment, show me the analysis that they've done. The market would have to make sense. We'd have to be in the right stage of the market. Those are some of the things that I would look for. But number one, I would need to trust the person. I would need to know, like, and trust them. I would need to have a relationship with them, knowing that if things go sideways, if interest rates rise, if the property is vacant, what type of priority are they going to give to this investment to make sure that it runs smooth? To make sure that my money is not lost? To make sure that my money is secure in that investment? Does that make sense? Those are the things that I would look for. What are they willing to do? Are they willing to work their butts off to make sure that the vacancy is filled? Or are they taking 3-week vacations when there's a few vacancies coming up? That might be an exaggeration, but you get the point. Are they willing to do the work that comes along with making sure my investment dollars are spent the right way? That's what I look for in a working partner. And I'm sure many of the money partners here, throw in the chat what you look for in a working partner. If you were to invest with somebody, or you have invested with somebody, what is it that made you say yes? I'm sure a lot would agree with me. Know, like, and trust is huge. Probably 80% of it. The other 20% is on the properties themselves. Hopefully that answers your question, Lewis. What do they need to have for you to work with them? Just the second part of your question was they need to, if they don't have the experience, and I've invested with people that don't even have an investment property yet. So, is experience extremely important? Does it help? Yes, obviously it helps. But if they don't have experience, I want them to be having some education, some mentorship, something behind them, so that when they do need a great team behind them, when they do have questions, they have people to turn to get those answers. That's the next thing that I would be looking for. If they knew how to do repairs or able to project management, project manage renovations, would that be something attractive to work with a partner? Can help reduce costs, I guess. That's important, but that's way down the list. Okay. And this is one thing, guys, that is very, very important, is when we say working partner, a lot of people now think I'm a good painter, I'm a good renovator, I'm a good working partner. Now, do those things help? Yes. But I'd much prefer somebody that's not a good painter but a very good analyzer of properties. Does that make sense? I would much prefer, rather than having a good contractor, I would much prefer somebody that really understands the market we're investing in and the strategy that we're going to employ. Does that make sense? So although managing renovations, being a project manager, knowing how to do repairs is good, that isn't the most important when it comes to being a working partner. Cindy, yes, communication is very important. Somebody who communicates very well. Now, personally, me as a money partner, I'm not a huge communicator. I would rather my working partner take care of and make some of those decisions on their own and come to me with a final decision. Then come to me and I have to make the decisions because that takes time. That's something I don't want to spend my time doing. Right? Okay, so we've talked step 1, 2, and 3 now. Okay, step 1, I'm doing everything myself. Step 2, I have a great team that takes care of a lot of the duties. Step 3, I partner with somebody who has a great team and takes care of all the duties and also manages that team. Now we're at like 95% of the work that is needed is now taken care of. Now, what do you think step 4 is in real estate to be almost 100% passive? And I think it was mentioned earlier. I can't remember who said it, but somebody did say it a little earlier. Anyways, I'm trying to look for it, but okay. There you go. Sean and Andrea, they just brought it up. Private lend my money out, especially registered funds. Exactly. So this is where RRSPs come into play. This is where cash comes into play. This is where using your line of credit can come into play. You know, let's say you have a line of credit and you're paying 10% interest on that money. You take that out, you lend it out to somebody that pays you a higher interest rate, and now you're making money off of the bank's money. Or if it's cash, you're lending it out at a certain interest rate, you're making an interest rate on that money. It could be your RRSPs that you're lending out as a mortgage. It's a secured mortgage on a property. And now you're earning an interest rate on that property. Now, is it 100% passive to be a private lender? No, because it still takes work to write the check. It still takes work to probably analyze the person you're lending it to. It still takes a bit of work to analyze, you know, the person that I'm lending it to, do I trust that they're going to be able to pay me back? What security are they going to give me? How confident am I in their ability to carry on with their project and hit the goals that they're planning to hit with their project so that they can pay me back? See, these are all important things for us if we are looking to be a private lender. And personally, we've been private lenders, but what do I look for? I look for somebody that I know is going to do what it takes to make sure that I get my money back. Very, very important. What's the security that's being offered? Now, sometimes we might private lend with very little security. Should we be lending our life savings in that scenario? No. Should we be lending money that, you know, if it did disappear and go to zero, that we would still be okay? Maybe we need to look at it that way, because these are scenarios where you can end up earning 10, 12, 15, 18, 20% return on your money, obviously because the investment is a little riskier. Maybe the security is a little bit less. You're not on title for a piece of real estate. You're essentially giving your money to somebody so that they can carry out their strategy on that property and then give you a high interest rate on your money and pay you back. Now, here's the thing. Is this a good strategy? Well, for many people, it is a great strategy. Now, depending on who you lend it to and the strategies they're employing, these are things we need to be very, very careful on. Okay, so there's disclaimer, there's warning here. Very, very, very passive. You essentially write a check. You do your diligence up front. Once that's done, you're getting paid your interest rate and you will be getting your money back. That's how a private lend is supposed to work. Now, is that 100% passive? No, but we're pretty darn close at this point, right? 98, 99%, it's a passive type of investment. So can you invest passively in real estate? Yes, you can. But you're not really investing in that scenario. Remember this. Remember this. That scenario of investing as a private lender, it is in the real estate realm, but it won't be secured in a lot of cases on a piece of real estate. It might not be. So can you call yourself a real estate investor if you are a private lender to somebody that is doing the work as a real estate investor? I guess you can. Yeah. And that would be the most passive way of doing it, but could potentially be the highest risk as well. So all of these things, guys, we need to be taking in. We need to understand. We need to know upfront, how much time can I put into this investment? Should I look at managing a team? Should I look at being a money partner and managing that, having them manage that team? Or should I look at being pretty much 100% passive and putting some of my money to work for me with a private lend type scenario? That's the scale in real estate of how passive you might want to be. So we wanted to talk about this tonight, guys, and we wanted to make everybody aware of the work that's involved in real estate investing. Simple as that. There's work involved in real estate investing, and we want you to be aware of that. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go and download. Jules put the link in the joint venture working partner duties list. Get familiar with all the duties that a working partner would end up doing for you if you are a money partner. Make sure that if you are buying a property on your own, that you're familiar with all of the steps that are necessary to make sure that you're not going to miss something along the way. Are you willing to do all of the work that goes along with it? Because many people out there advertise real estate investing as a very passive type of investment. But as we've talked about, in most cases, it's not. Okay, so that's that. You can download that with a link that I'm sure Jules will send to you or put in the chat here. One other thing I wanted to share with you tonight, guys, is let me just share my screen. And here, there we go. Okay. So on our website, I wanted to just make sure that you are aware, if you go into the toolkit, we have a lot of resources for you guys here. We have a free real estate Let's Get Started online course. We have our property analyzer. You can download our flip calculator, our leverage infographic, letter of intent, a mortgage calculator you can use, our 3-offer strategy, joint venture infographic, and here at the bottom, our working partner duties list. So you go to investorlife.com, guys, click on the toolkit. There's a ton of value here. It costs you absolutely nothing to download any of these things in the toolkit. So I want you to be very aware of that. Secondly, we have options as well. If you're wanting to learn more about this, you're wanting to be a money partner, you're wanting to be a working partner, then click over here, real estate investing without using your own money. That would be learning how to be a working partner. If you're looking to invest passively, click on this section of our website and you'll get some information about investing passively as well. So I wanted to share that with you guys and make sure that you know of the options, of the tools that are available, absolutely free. Go to the website, investorlife.com, and feel free to download that. And of course, we do have a mentorship program. That's our Ignited program. If you have any interest in that, you can also click on the same page under education. And I'll just share that again right up here at the top. And most of you are already in our Fearless Facebook group. We have our Ignited mentorship, and you can register for our wait list for our next boot camp. We don't have dates set for that yet, but we can register for that and get on the wait list. And if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out. Send us an email, info@investorlife.com. There we go, guys. I hope that you got some value out of this training tonight, that you understand the work that is involved, and you can understand also the steps depending on how passive you want to be in real estate. There are steps that you can take to do that. If you're looking for advice on building a team, if you're looking for advice on working partners, you saw a whole bunch that put their hands up here tonight, reach out, have those conversations. That's what this Facebook group is all about here in Fearless, is for people to connect, to create those relationships, to get these partnerships done so that those with money can be mostly passive and those that were willing to do the work are funded in their deals. That's how it works. And we want to be able to put both of you guys together. So there we go, guys. That is that. I wanted to share that tonight. Hopefully you got some value. Thanks for joining us for this Tactical Tuesday. And we are going to be continuing on with Money Magnet May as we continue next week. We will see our Ignited members in our laser session here in about 19 minutes or so. And let's see here. I'll just answer a couple questions that come in. Lisa, we're experienced co-living operators. Any multifamily investors looking for a working partner? There we go. Craig, Lisa, feel free to reach out. We have some fun stuff on the go. Absolutely. That's what it's all about, guys, is asking questions, creating relationships, connecting with other investors, and this is where deals get done. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Our Ignited members in about 18 minutes over in our Zoom laser session. We'll see you then. Have a great night, everybody.